Hey, what's up guys? This is Axel. Welcome to ATech Reviews. Today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Softears Reference Sound 5, also known as RSV. It's a 5 BA driver IM. It's an all BA driver IM, meaning it only has BA drivers. Let's start quickly. This is the box it comes with. And you have this enclosure here. It has like two types of silicone ear tips, a cleaning brush, and then you get this very beautiful like leatherette material on the surface of this carrying case. It's a bit tight, but once you pop it out open, you find two pouches for each earpiece and you have a cleaning cloth. That's pretty much it. And then you get this cable. It's a single-ended cable like most Softears IMs. And the cable is on the thin side. Like I have here the Softears Studio 4 just for comparison. And if I hold them side by side, you kind of see on the right here is the cable of the Softears Studio 4. It's slightly thicker compared to the cable of the RSV. The cable itself is nice. It's a bit on the thin side, so it's more likely to get tangled, but it's easy to untangle as well. The cable also has a bit of a memory. As you can see, it holds a shape when you put it, even when you flatten out on a table, it kind of like has a shape on its own. Slight shape, no problem. No microphonics at all. And if you look here, like most Softears IM, it doesn't have a chin cinch slider. But it has like a cool V-shaped letter here, which you can see. Anyway, the earpieces themselves, this is how they look. I think they look beautiful. They look nice in comparison to the all blacked out look of the Studio 4. Anyway, it looks very nice. That's it. I'm going to be posting a picture of the nozzle diameter width so that you guys can have an idea about the fit and comfort. For me, fit and comfort is excellent, as I usually have that with most IMs, to be completely honest. But just something to keep in mind, this is an all BA IM and none of the balanced armature drivers are vented, so if you are sensitive to pressure buildup issues with BA IMs, just keep this in mind. Of course, there's a few things you could do, like for example, like there's like this Tangzu ear tip called Sankai, something like that, that helps remove that pressure buildup, or you can wear it in a specific way where you stretch your ears and so on. But anyway, I just want to mention that issue. For me, I have no issues with it. I'm okay. I rarely have pressure buildup issues with IMs. Now let's start beginning talking about the sound. So let's talk about the RSV. Like the sound of the RSV, I will start by saying, like, if I have never listened to the Softears Studio 4, I would be drooling over the RSV. And I say that because when comparing it to the Studio 4 is one of the best IMs I've ever heard under any price. When I compare them together, I feel the Studio 4 achieves a lot of the sound of the RSV, like, dare I say, even 80%, perhaps even more. And I will explain the differences quickly in the comparison segment. I will start by describing the bass. The bass of the RSV, I would describe it as neutral. You get the amount of bass you want from a neutral sounding set. You get a lot of clarity. You get a lot of detail in it. Not going to be the most textured, not going to give you that punchiness and slam that you get from a good dynamic driver. So this is something to keep in mind as well. But I have to say, what is there is satisfying for me. I'm a bass lover. Like, I'm not a bass head, but I love and appreciate a good quality bass. And here the amount is more than enough. It definitely gives you the amount of bass you get from the track. It's neutral, it's detailed, and this IM is isolating and non-vented as well. So you kind of like perceive the bass as more than what looks in the graph, right? But at the same time, it's not a dynamic driver IM. So this is something also I have to be clear about for you guys. There's not going to be that sensation of the driver moving against your ear. You're not going to get the vibrating rumble of the sub bass. But on bass heavy tracks, the bass is there and it's high quality and it's detailed enough for me to feel it's satisfying. Like, I'm not lacking anything. Moving on to the lower mid-range. The lower mid-range avoids being thin. The mid bass helps a lot, and it adds a lot of weight to a lot of the vocals, a lot of the instruments. There is a good amount of note weight, and it's transparent. Like the vocals and the mid-range overall, this is one of the best parts about this IM. You get a lot of vocal and instrument clarity here, like a lot, like one of the best, you know, like in most of the competing IMs with it. What I mean by that is the vocals are pushed way forward. Like I would describe this IM as mid-centric or a vocal-focused IM. The vocals are so forward and so in the center with a lot of clarity and separation that I feel, although this is a neutral leaning IM, I feel is just more focused on the mid-range, and it's a vocal-focused IM. A lot of clarity in the vocals, a lot of detail in the vocals, specifically the female vocals. Male vocals are well represented as well, and transparent and clear, but just everything, like specifically the female vocals, are pushed in the center and upwards, and it's like carrying a lot of clarity, a lot of detail, a lot of instrument separation. Like it's wonderful. Like you just have to hear it. Like I think words cannot describe it as much. What I want to say is that this is the focus of this IM. This is the best part for me about this IM: the vocals, the mid-range, the instruments, and the overall separation and clarity. Moving on to the treble, like I think there is enough treble. It's not an airy sound signature, but there is enough treble to make it sound realistic. The key word here for the treble is realistic. It's not an airy or an overly bright IM, but when I hear a cymbal crash, it's a realistic cymbal crash the way I hear it in real life. When I hear like a lot of the high frequency instruments, they are so realistic. The timbre is so natural and so realistic. It's wonderful. Like again, I'm repeating myself with the review of the Studio 4 here because everything is there. I will describe it again in a second. Everything is just the same but pushed up 10 to 20% more. Overall resolution is actually, it's a very detailed IM, but the resolution I will like talk about it more in the comparison segment just so that I put it in perspective. Now let me talk about the comparison between the RSV and the Studio 4. Now the Studio 4 is very close to my heart as an IM, and I love it so much. Like it's a neutral reference, it's a studio reference. But what does the RSV offer more here? I will tell you, like I feel first of all the RSV offers a bit more mid-bass. It's not a huge difference. Like there is a bump, a very noticeable bump, and I would consider it an upgrade, but it's still a BA bass, so it's not going to be like a slam in your face. It's not going to be so punchy that you get surprised or anything like that. Just there is a noticeable improvement, but again, like that is not very noticed because there is an improvement or a bump again in the upper mid-range of the RSV, so it kind of like the bump in the mid-bass kind of like balances itself out. So it kind of becomes like, you know, a more balanced boost in the bass that adds a bit to the low end, gives a bit more note weight. That's the improvement, more than the perceived punchiness of the mid-bass itself, more than the slam, so to speak. Another thing is the upper mid-range. There is a bit of a boost, and overall the vocals, I'm not sure why, but when I compare them side by side, volume matched, I find that the vocals are pushed more forward on the RSV for some reason. You kind of feel that when you go back to the Studio 4, that the vocals there are not as clear. They're still very clear, but the Studio 4 gives me the feeling that they are more balanced. The vocals are more balanced. It's a balanced set, where the RSV, I feel it's a vocal forward, or the vocals are more pushed forward set. That's the way I would describe it. Overall, there is also an improvement in detail and resolution in the RSV, but that difference compared to the Studio 4 is not a huge difference. I would say maybe 20% more. So you kind of feel here it's an improvement over the Studio 4, absolutely, but it's not a night and day difference. You kind of feel it's the same IM, but upgraded. So that is the comparison with the Studio 4. If I move on to the DUNU SA6 MK II, here the difference is kind of big, and like big in the tonality. And first of all, I will start by saying that the DUNU SA6 MK II has a noticeable improvement in the detail retrieval and the overall resolution. This is something that is a bit shocking, but yeah, when I compare them, this is the first thing that popped into my head. The DUNU SA6 MK II has more detail and resolution. It's heavenly. So that's kind of like, you know, if I compare it to the Studio 4, that's kind of understandable, but with the RSV and its price, this is one of the things you have to keep in mind. The RSV is not a detail monster. It's not a resolution monster. It has enough and sufficient detail, but other IMs, perhaps around the same price range, could possibly have more detail retrieval. For example, the SA6 MK II has a more noticeable improvement in resolution and overall detail. Another thing is the SA6 MK II has better imaging and separation, and even soundstage, wider soundstage as well. And if you guys have that IM, you know what I'm talking about. The imaging is better, the soundstage is wider, you know. Yeah, but I will tell you what is the better thing about the RSV. Another thing is the bass of the SA6 MK II. I had to say it is better as well. Like, it's one of the best BA bass I've ever heard. The number one spot here goes to the Elysian Diva 2023. This is one of the best BA bass I've ever heard. Number two would be the SA6 MK II. It has a lot of the qualities of a dynamic driver, and specifically when you turn that switch on. So I know some of you might ask, like, so what is the difference? What benefits or advantages does the RSV offers? To me, the advantage is clear in one area. I think the RSV offers much better vocals. In terms of tuning and in terms of vocal forwardness, detail, instruments, these things on the RSV, if you're a person who values vocals, if you want to hear more instruments more than anything else, if you want to hear more vocals compared to the rest of the music, the RSV here is the winner, absolutely. It offers a lot more detail. It's a vocal focused IM. And when you compare it to something like the SA6, absolutely, if we're talking about the vocals, the RSV beats it immediately, in my opinion. The SA6 has like a tuning that is what they call the QDC and only VX kind of tuning, where it is a very good tuning, and honestly, I prefer the SA6 myself. But if you are looking for a vocal-focused sound signature, if you want to hear those vocals, if you want to hear the instruments, the RSV wins hands out. It's the number one spot. That's my opinion about it. It has a lot more even detail, you could say that, because the vocals are pushed forward. You kind of hear them much more easily compared to the SA6 MK II. So that is the advantage of the RSV. Which one you should get, it kind of depends on your preferences. As I said, vocals, instruments compared to anything else, it's going to be the RSV. If you want more bass, better quality bass, if you want more treble extension and more airy sound signature with better imaging and soundstage and overall resolution, detail retrieval, the SA6 MK II is going to be better. That is just my opinion about it. Overall, I kind of feel the Studio 4 offers the better value here, and I kind of like it because of that. Compared to the RSV, it gives you, like, let's say around 80% of what you get there. So in that case, it kind of makes sense, and it kind of makes the SA6 appear like an upgrade, and like even a different tuning and stuff like that. Anyway, that's my opinion, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and until the next one, see you. Take care, guys. Bye.